Usually, film buffs appreciate a deeper level of engagement from their films. As we know, some of us enjoy this intimacy through subtle details that connect the person watching the movie and its creator. In this episode, we take you through some 10 great examples of the movie Easter eggs that were included in classic films. These Easter eggs give moviegoers another layer to engage with their favorite films. But first things, what exactly do you know about the Easter eggs movies? Easter eggs get their name from the tradition of dyeing hard-boiled eggs bright colors with food coloring. They're colorful additions to egg-based recipes, or you can eat them yourself. In the film space, Easter eggs are a tool for video games and movies used mainly to wink at their audience. Tool writers and directors often use them to allow discerning viewers who spot them present from the director, writer messages, or even jokes. In other words, Easter eggs are references hidden in films to surprise the audience. The present times are referenced in dialogue, or the filmmaker may alert the audience of their presence with some soft music or a title card saying Easter egg alert. Whether you're looking for a storyboard illustration hidden away or something more complex that takes an extra second to scan into an Easter egg hunt, they'll still be just as delightful as ever. So, let's go. The first of these movies is the 1975 Toy Story. Toy Story is an American computer animated comedy about toys coming to life and having adventures as kids play with them. In Easter egg, it is referred to as Shining and is one of director Stanley Kubrick's most iconic screens from his 1980 horror film. The Shining is a scene where Danny rides his tricycle through the hallways of the haunted Overlook Hotel. It builds up suspense and traditionally uses childhood innocence with feelings of danger. In Toy Story, the protagonist Andy has two toys, one of them called Buzzy and the other called Woody. One day in his room, Woody and Buzzy are playing peacefully when everything changes. His mom takes him to see a movie about toys, and he comes home with a huge bag of pretend-to-play things that he hasn't seen in a while. Suddenly, his other toys start acting weird, like they're scared because they're naughty. But then it turns out that this is a nightmare because Andy accidentally leaves his door open and one of his naughtier dolls escapes and videotapes Woody and Buzzy getting kidnapped. The second one is 1981 Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Indiana Jones saga is also packed with film references. In the Easter egg, a reference has been made to Star Wars. These journeys of a daring archaeologist happen to be one of the most popular film series, so much so that George Lucas even directed it. You'll soon notice familiar patterns of shapes and symbols when you look closely at the ancient Egyptian features. You might not know that these familiar figures are hidden among other designs. They feature two iconic Star Wars characters, R2-D2 and C-3PO, wearing gold paint and purple highlights in their traditional forms. Steven Spielberg, a film director and screenwriter, created the Indiana Jones reference. The third in line is the 1982 E.T., the Extraterrestrial. In Steven Spielberg's classic film about an alien stuck on Earth who needs to get home, there is a scene in which the children and E.T. are wearing costumes for Halloween. The cinematic universes of Star Wars and E.T. intersect in one young boy's dream, showing a world where humans, E.T., and Yoda both exist. A cozy costume is the best way to stay warm during the winter. This adorable Yoda-themed onesie will make your little one feel like a Jedi, despite being time for indoors. The fabric is soft and has a nice print, so happy holidays. The fourth one is the 1999 Star Wars The Phantom Menace. One of the Easter eggs in our content is a reference to E.T., the Extraterrestrial, a movie filmed in this area and released 30 years ago. When George Lucas, director of Star Wars, confirmed the fan theory that 3 members of the Galactic Senate are similar to E.T., he created an appropriate. He expected an ending for one he had installed in Spielberg's movie. The fifth is 1972 The Godfather. One of the greatest movies of all time is The Godfather, co-directed by the late great Francis Ford Coppola. Among other things, the director put a few Easter eggs in the film for fans to enjoy. The most obvious prominent color? When you see someone wearing orange, they're either about to die way, betray someone, or be betrayed. The Godfather was an incredible film, and the movie-going experience was indelibly deep. To understand this film's violence and intrigue, reference a few clues hidden within it. The sixth one is The Birds. We all know Alfred Hitchcock as one of history's most famous film directors, but many fans don't know that he appears in nearly 40% of the films he directed. Some of his appearances include his character in The Birds, released in 1960. He's spotted leaving a pet shop with two little dogs, his real-world companions in the film. The video shows Alfred Hitchcock in a quick cameo for The Birds. Next is the 1982 Tron. This is a classic reference to the mascot of Pac-Man's 1980s science fiction video game. Here, Tron tells the story of a programmer and game developer who gets sucked into his software. In one scene of the movie, Confrontation on Titan, Steven Lisberger shows a close-up of the spaceship circuit screen that draws artistic inspiration from the iconic video game character Pac-Man. Another instance is the first feature film directed by Wes Craven and based on a Stephen King novel, The Hills Have Eyes, about a family attempting to live in the desert where they encounter a group of violent outcasts. The film that combines horror and comedy is a difficult beast to wrangle, but director Wes Craven proved he was up for the challenge. He brought in The Exorcist star Linda Blair for a cameo to give an impression of what a reporter might be like during the events that unfold on screen. Then we have the 2014 Captain America: Winter Soldier. As a reference to Pulp Fiction, we've hidden an Easter egg. Here, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is packed with hidden gems, references to the comics published by Marvel Studios. They also reference films from outside their universe. What do two characters from Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta's 1992 film Pulp Fiction have in common? They're both played by actor Nick Fury in the Marvel film Captain America: Winter Soldier. Like when Jules Winfield starts quoting Ezekiel 25:17, Colonel Nick Fury also has an interesting tombstone quote on his gravestone. When Steve Rogers visits the Smithsonian Institution and looks at the history of American superheroes, one display shows a picture of Captain America from the 1940s. The airport scene features a plane inspired by Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose airplane. Bucky Barnes' mask has a subtle reference to Blade Runner, with the eyepieces resembling those of Rachel's replicant character. The scene where Cap rescues Sharon Carter from an enemy compound features several nods to iconic comic book scenes, including Cap running up a building like Spider-Man and Cap grabbing enemies by their heads like Hulk. Even if you don't watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier or know much about the time-traveling plot points, a quick peek at this blog post should give you a sense of how it works. Captain America: The Winter Soldier references the popular film Pulp Fiction. Lastly is the 1976 Taxi Driver, one starring appearance by Martin Scorsese and two cameo appearances by Martin Scorsese. This film features two appearances by the director. The first is when he's sitting in the background in one scene. Then, much more clearly, he's riding his bike on a sunny day and sees his wife in the window across from him. In Taxi Driver, the 1976 film, directed by Martin Scorsese, the titular driver is seen in the background of one scene. He's sitting in a chair looking out the window, and his wife is visible across from him. The scene is relatively brief, and it's unclear if this is the same Taxi Driver character who would become infamous later in the film. However, much more clearly, Taxi Driver is seen on a bike riding through sunny streets on a beautiful day. This scene was shot on a real street in Manhattan and was included as an Easter egg by Scorsese himself. One of Taxi Driver's most memorable moments was the appearance of Martin Scorsese. Hidden messages and nods to other artists are a fun way for film fans to discover the creativity and ingenuity of screenwriters and directors. What are your favorite movie Easter eggs that you've discovered? Let us know in the comments below. Guys, we would love to hear your thoughts on some of the best movie Easter eggs hidden in classic films. Tell us which ones we missed, and be on the lookout for more of these whenever you watch any video in the future. And remember to subscribe and like our content for more like these. Cheers, and see you next time.